Hello, this is Swearingen Jr. from the Museum of Fulton County and Coffee with the Curator. And today I'm in the gallery in the Civil War time period, and you can see in front of me a little boy and girl on a swing, and they are part of our Mennonite story in Fulton County. And the distal finch over their head is a symbol from the German culture. It's a distal finch is just another German term for thistle finch, which we don't have in North America, but it's a good luck symbol in their culture back in Germany. So we're going to talk about their influence in Fulton County and an interesting object that wouldn't be here today without them. So you can see here in this Mennonite and conscientious objector display case, this logo, motto of the Mennonite religion, which is no cross, no crown, which is the credo about salvation only comes through Christ and the crown of heaven. And the Mennonites were part of the German that were being persecuted in Europe and came to America in different time periods for freedom of religion. And the Quakers were also here during the same time period, and the Dunkard Brethren came later in the 19th century. And we're going to see now something that was made from these folks. So this is the Tyson loom. I am on the second level of this display. We have a woodworker shop down below, and we're trying to show in the winter months that the women and young girls would be weaving and spinning wool during the winter months. And so this loom we didn't know a lot about when we received it, other than who had donated it. So I did some research a month ago to find out the whole story behind this. And it turns out that this loom would not be here today unless there was a huge argument over religion. So the Tyson family has been in America a really long time. They came over with the original Mennonites from Krefeld, Germany, that's on the Rhine River, in 1683. So that they've been in America a long time. And the first settler's name was Cornelius Tyson, and his great-grandson, so that's quite a few generations later, Daniel, was born in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. So this is where the Pennsylvania Dutch story comes into focus. And the Cornelius then probably built this loom in the 1830s, and it's designed for carpet and coverlets. And this is a coverlet behind me. And these stopped being made in the 19th century, later in the 19th century, when people could easily produce these on a giant mechanized loom. Those were popular out east in Massachusetts. So during this time period, he was listed in the census as a weaver by trade, and he also was a farmer. So like I said, he'd be farming during the summer and using the loom during the winter. So in 1847 is when the story moved west. And so that is when a whole big group of these Pennsylvania Dutch came out here and moved to Wood County at that time and brought this loom with them. And his son Isaac was born in 1826, and he brought little Isaac with him. And this loom would have stayed at their home. Grandpa would have then taught the loom making to his granddaughter, and her name was Emma, and she learned to weave from her grandfather. And when he passed away, this became hers. So the problem was that there was a fight in the 1840s over how the church should be run in Wood County. So the Mennonites were half this group from Pennsylvania that had been in America since the 1600s, and the other half who had just arrived from Germany. So we have a totally different place and time in how their religion is perceived by the people. These folks have been in America for 300 years, and so they have, or 200 years, and so they have assimilated a lot of the American culture into their denomination, where these folks from Germany are still practicing the Mennonite religion faith the way it was in Germany. So this caused a huge clash amongst the people. The German-speaking felt that the services should never be spoken in English because that would dilute the faith, and that Sunday school for small children should never be allowed. And the other group believed that English was spoken by the children in their schools, and the younger generations are not learning German, so they believed that the religion should be more like what we see today. And so there was a huge split, and the liberal families all moved to Indiana. So this loom went to Indiana, and the conservatives went up into Michigan in the Ann Arbor area. And the little church that was left in Wood County fell apart. No one lived there. No one used the building. And the cemetery sat abandoned after that. So Emma's daughter, Sylvia, was the next to inherit the loom. Emma's husband passed away in 1927, and that's where Fulton County comes into the story. She came then to live with her daughter in Swanton, Ohio, brought the loom with her, and her daughter then took over making rugs. And the people who donated this loom to us remember her making rugs on this very loom. So that is the long, contorted story on how this loom ended up in Fulton County, Ohio.
Now, John, aren't Amish and Mennonites communities very similar? Aren't they the same group?
No, they're not at all, and we have no actual Amish here in Fulton County. The folks that came here would call themselves Amish Mennonite, but they were actually what we would today call Mennonite. Amish is actually a branch off of the Mennonite faith because the folks felt that they were the Mennonites were too liberal. But if you would go to a worship service in a strict Mennonite church, you would probably have a hard time differentiating the difference between the two.
And what is the importance of both groups to Fulton County?
Well, the Amish Mennonite are really prevalent in the bottom left-hand corner of our county, which would be German Township, and they, because of their craftsmanship, not only the loom that we just saw, that type of craftsmanship, but this type of woodworking would have only been in Fulton County because of them. They are the ones that started Slaughter Woodworking and an Elmira furniture making business along the railroad, and this German heritage wouldn't be reflected in our culture today if they hadn't come. So if you've liked what you've seen in this video and want to see more, come to the museum. We're open 10 to 4 Monday through Saturday and noon to 4 on Sundays. 8848 Ohio 108, Wasion, Ohio. And we are at exit 34 on the Ohio Turnpike if you're coming from that direction. So thank you and have a great day.